Hi everyone, Lee here, aka HRManifesto. Question for you: what is the wildest thing a boss has ever told you? Or perhaps the craziest thing a coworker has ever done to you? Oh my goodness, I bet you have some stories, and you are totally welcome to email those to me, and then I can share them broadly anonymously if you like. But I have some doozies myself, and occupational hazard for me, I do love to hear about them. I love to read about them because I always try and drive solutions for them. Just again, occupational hazard being in HR. But I came across this article from Buzzfeed, and it's entitled "These 23 Wild Work Stories Will Make You Never Want to Work Again," as if we needed 23 stories to make us never want to work again. Am I right? But oh my goodness, God, I love this type of shit. I just eat these sort of articles up because I cannot believe, and I mean that I totally believe, but I just cannot believe some of the things that happen in the workplace. And so I always enjoy flipping through these and seeing if someone can top me in a certain area with things that I've seen, right? So I'm going to read these to you all. Little story time, little tragic work reality story time, brought to us by Buzzfeed here. And certainly let me know in the comments if you've had similar experiences, if any of these resonate, or if you got a better one, right? Top it. I mean, definitely top it. All right, so let's dive in here. Number one, the hickey wound. It was one of my first days back at work after being out for a month from life-saving emergency surgery. An older couple kept giving me dirty looks and requested a new server. I was confused but handed them off to another server. Then my manager comes up and asks, "Were you attacked by a vampire bat?" Again, I was confused. He clarified, "Go put makeup on that hickey." Hickey? I looked in the mirror. They were offended by the healing wound on my neck from surgery. All right. I don't know, that might be kind of gross to eat too, but still. Number two, the masturbator. My manager out of nowhere asked if I masturbate. Now, let me pause here and share that we still do frown upon that in the workplace. We do frown upon our leaders asking anybody, peers, colleagues, workers, their leaders, etc., if they masturbate. We still do. Yeah, we still frown upon that. So please do not do that. Yeah, and even if you aren't a leader, if you're an individual contributor, you can refrain from asking about your coworker's sexual activity as well. I probably wouldn't ask your boss that question either. All right, so my manager out of nowhere asked if I masturbate. And after I said I was not comfortable with answering, she offered to go out and buy me a dildo. I've got a TikTok on this. Yeah, people do that. Yeah. Actually, I've heard of this happening a couple of times. Anyway, very, very odd. Please, just don't. Like, if you think you want to, just don't do it, please. All right, number three, the broken leg. One of my coworkers at my last job was a nightmare! Exclamation point. We'll call her Sue. Our other coworker, Becky, was taking a lot of time off to care for her very ill mother, and Sue could not handle the fact that Becky was getting more attention than her. Oh, God. It's like high school, isn't it? This began a long string of events where Sue would fake some sort of drama about once a month to get sympathy. It all came to a head when Sue came into work with a very obvious limp. A few customers asked her what happened, and we learned that she had apparently tripped over a dog gate and injured her leg. That day, she left at lunch and came back with the boot she had gotten from home. That transformed into a pair of crutches and eventually a wheelchair. The hilarious part is that she was normally the first one in, but one day, right at the beginning of the day, one of our other coworkers beat her into the office. Sue didn't know she was there and walked in perfectly normal. Later that day, when everyone was in the office, the pronounced limp was back. Remember, people bring their whole selves to the office. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Number 4, the spreadsheet. My previous manager kept a spreadsheet to track every single minute of my day. If my productivity was lower for a particular day, she would pull me into a meeting and present all the past spreadsheets and ask why I was not being productive during XYZ minutes. She tracked the minute I clocked into work, how long I spent in the bathroom, how long I stepped away to get a cup of coffee in the break room, and how long I talked to customers. Oh my goodness. So this is called a micromanager, and there's other terms that are way more extreme. But if you do this as a manager, just don't. Try and have faith. You'll actually get more out of your employees if you refrain from doing activities like this. And I would always question to the managers that I've coached that are micromanagers like this, what good are you? Because this takes your entire day. Counting somebody else's minutes, continuously doing beans and box exercise like this. Why do I need you? I don't need you because you produce nothing. Right? Think about it. God, I hate that. Can you tell? All right. Number 5, the wedding fiasco. My manager tried to stop me from getting a day off work. What day? My wedding day. God, let's remember employees are human for a second. The timer. My supervisor timed the nurses in a recovery room for every action of patient care. Again, really? A little trust, it goes a long way. Number 7, the FedEx package. During my fashion internship, my boss sent me to go pick up a package from FedEx. I walk over and tell the FedEx worker the package number. He gives me 2 options. Number 1, the package is already out for delivery and on the way to the fashion studio. Or 2, my boss has to call a specific FedEx number to authorize me to pick up her package. I don't know what to do at this point, so I get out of line so I can call the studio administrator. I notify her about the situation, and she said she'd call me back. After 45 minutes of back and forth and waiting for an answer, my boss finally calls me. She then proceeds to forcefully ask why I can't solve the problem myself and why I have to bug the studio administrator about it. She basically hangs up and tells me to find a solution. A few minutes later, I get a text from her saying, "Come back to the studio, the package is already out for delivery." I go back to the studio with no acknowledgement, no thank you, and no apology. This has happened to me before with the FedEx. Oh God, it is frustrating. The dishwasher. That's one where it's like it's just in God's hands, let it go. The dishwasher. I worked as a receptionist for a local textiles company for about 7 years. They started dumping odd jobs on me and my co-receptionist who I shared the front office with. One of my jobs included loading and unloading the dishwasher in our rather large company kitchen. I would load and run it at the end of the day, and it turns out people would stay late, open the dishwasher to put their coffee cups or Tupperware in, and forget to start it back up. For some reason, this infuriated, all caps, the HR person, who would go out of her way to drag me from my real job to hand wash dishes that hadn't been washed the night before. As if that wasn't bad enough, she would badmouth me to my coworkers by saying I was so dumb I couldn't press a start button. Oh, God. That's like a knife in my heart, like hearing an HR person, professional do something like that. It's so gross, right? Because you're supposed to be a trusted employee advocate. This isn't coming from me. I'd never ask anybody to wash dishes. I just wash them my damn self if I saw them in the sink, which I've done plenty of times in the workplace. Just remember, though, there are bad people in every single profession. There's bad doctors and bad teachers and you name it. But yeah, for HR people, though, man, it sucks. If you're an HR person listening to this, please do not be a dick. That's my only ask. Number 9, the key holder. My last job had a coworker who worked more hours than me, but never actually worked. She was a key holder and kept giving me all the jobs she didn't want to do. She had never worked retail before, yet they passed me over as key holder despite having worked for them 4 years and having 10 years of experience. She also used to steal my snacks that I kept at work. Oh, God, insult to injury. The makeup case. I was told by my boss and administrator to put on more makeup because I look sick and tired. I have been asked the days I do not wear makeup, are you sick and tired? Yes, I'm also sick and tired the days I wear makeup, but I just put on a disguise. Oh man, I hate that one, but that happens. That's a real one there. The CEO girlfriend. I worked at a tissue bank. We processed bone and tissue from organ donors and sold them to hospitals, and I was in charge of shipping and inventory. There are a lot of steps to make sure everything is safe, and if you lose track of something, it's insanely expensive, I imagine. You don't want to lose track of parts of people. I was supposed to train my manager, who was the CEO's girlfriend, and had no idea how anything worked. When I tried to walk her through the steps, she just looked at her phone, waved me off, and said, "Just write everything down." I mean, job instructions are good. You do want work instructions; those are helpful, but I get it. Maybe some favoritism there. Number 12, the dumb blonde. I worked at a jewelry store with the manager from hell. When I was learning the job and would ask him a question he felt was stupid, he'd say, "You're just a dumb blonde. I wouldn't expect you to know that." Oh, God. Another time I asked for 1 weekend off in a 6-month period, and he said, "A weekend off in retail? Are you smoking crack?" Oh my goodness. So I hope you ran from this workplace. God, anytime you're not treated with respect and dignity, make an exit plan immediately, because it's not going to get better. People do not change, okay? When people show you who they are, believe them. The email fix. I was an intern a couple years ago, and one of my friends at work corrected someone else on our team in an email chain very nicely. This person ended up storming over to our work area and yelling at my friend, "Don't tell me how to do my job." They ended up going into a conference room where the yelling continued, and she ended up grabbing my friend's wrist really aggressively. That's how I was part of an HR investigation as an intern. That last line. Oh my goodness, that happens. Woo. That's probably a dismissal there. All right, number 14, the organic tampon. My boss offered me organic tampons, and I told her that's okay. I didn't need them since I have an IUD and I no longer get a period. She then started yelling at me, saying how I'm giving myself cancer and poisoning my body. They walk amongst us, the crazies. Yeah, they are out there. Whew. Unless you work for an organic tampon company, probably refrain from doing that in the workplace. Number 15, the host evaluation. I used to host at a restaurant, and I started a casual relationship with one of the bartenders. After each post-sex cuddle session, that's hard for me to say, after each post-sex cuddle session, he would tell me all of the things I could be doing better as a host. Basically, he wanted me to take on some of his own duties while minimizing my own, since his position was more important. After each. So they did it more than once. This person may be a little masochistic. Oh man. All right. The sick colleague, number 16. I told my boss I wasn't feeling well, so she asked me if I was pregnant. I would not do that. I would not ask that at work. That is not safe. 17, the name game. My coworker didn't bother to learn how to pronounce my name, Ruchi, so she gave me a bunch of different names, including Ray, Raja, and my personal favorite, Ratatouille. Now, I love Ratatouille. Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, probably shouldn't do that. Yeah, don't make up people. Don't make up names for people unless, everyone's cool with it. It doesn't sound like she was cool with it. 18, the company lick. At one company holiday party, a coworker grabbed my hand and full-on lapped my palm. Haven't had this one. I've had someone do the lick all the way up this way and suck someone's ear during a photo at a work event. That did not end well. No. Number 19, the darkness inside. I used to be a receptionist, and one day before opening, I made a comment to my friend about how I had to listen to 8 voicemails that morning. The owner/doctor heard me and told me to leave, get some coffee, and think about how my negative energy affects the office. When I returned, confused and crying as no one has ever, all caps, told me I am negative, he brought me into his office and told me he could tell my bubbly personality was a mask for the darkness inside me. I'd be like, bitch, all you're seeing is dusk. You have not seen the dark yet, but you're about to. Oh my goodness, like, what? People are crazy. Oh my goodness, that would be wild. That would be wild. I'd probably be close to my last day. There's a lot of red flags right there. A lot of red flags. Oh my goodness. All right, number 20, the opinion. A manager once told me that I shouldn't have opinions, only ideas. I'm a supervisor with a staff of 22. You bet your sweet ass I have opinions about what's going to impact them and the work we do. Yes. Wow. I shouldn't have opinions. All right. Good luck with that. 21, the climber. A coworker climbed across my desk to touch me. Granted, I had boxed myself in trying to avoid a harmless friend hug, but still, yeah, don't. Yeah, don't. If you feel you want to, don't. You have to have that kind of weird conversation that's like, I'm a hugger. Are you a hugger? Like, is this okay? Can we do this? You have to like establish that. At least you should. That's a best practice. No lunging across the desk. I've been lunged across the desk at before, but it wasn't for a hug. Number 22, the 2-week notice. My first job was at a very high-end dress store, and I worked there for almost 2 years. I had to quit because I was going to college, and when I told the manager that I was quitting, she literally told me no. Not in a joking way, like, no, we need you here, haha, please don't go, but no, like she wasn't accepting my 2 weeks. I walked out and didn't show up for my shift the next day and got a text from her asking where I was and how she hoped everything was okay. It reminds me of my first job. I was a hostess at a Tex-Mex restaurant, and it was very similar. I was like, just mail me my last check. I'm going on spring break. I already told you. I gave you 6-month notice for that. Oh, okay, number 23. And finally, the great escape. I worked in a shipping warehouse for a large company, and part of the job was completing daily mail runs. My coworker was out on the run one afternoon. The post office had to call the company because when he was leaving the parking lot, he backed into a parked car. Apparently panicking, he shot out of the parking lot across 4 lanes of traffic into a concrete construction barricade, destroying the brand new company car. Then he got out of the car and tried to run away from the scene of the accident on foot. He ran headfirst into a telephone pole and knocked himself out. Amazingly, no one else was injured, and he didn't even end up getting fired for this. That's probably a termination for multiple reasons. Yeah, that's probably should have been that one. Oh my goodness. So have you experienced these crazy things at your workplace? Has your boss ever told you that there's darkness inside you? Oh, I couldn't imagine. Oh man. But hey, this stuff happens. Like this is tragic. But I believe these are real, right? Only because I've experienced or heard worse. uh, but uh, but yeah, if you have any wild stories, you are absolutely welcome to share them with me at any time. I'd love to read them and even share them if you want me to. But remember that it's always a best practice to treat people in the workplace how you wish to be treated. Number one. Number two, give grace when you can. Try not to micromanage people. Give trust first, right? And see what they do with it. You tend to get more out of people when you do. But remember that people are human and they also bring their whole selves to the office. No one shows up in pieces. So the good, the bad, the ugly, you name it. The mental illness, the joy, the frustrations, the happiness, the grief, all of that comes with every single person into the workplace every single day. And so always a good idea to remember that people are human. They have off days and great days and happy days and terrible days and you name it. Guess what? Just like you. Just like you. We forget that. We forget that a lot of times. So again, please send me your tragic work realities. I'd love to read them and share them if you like. Please follow, share, subscribe, all of that stuff. And thank you so much for watching.